Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Luening, Horst Luening, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. Today I have something like a distillation column here on my cask, but no, it's something different. It's a configuration for chill filtration. I did a huge investigation, huge work about chill filtration of single malt whiskies, of Scotch single malt whiskies, and there is the publication of this work here on this address. If you're looking from an iPad or a mobile phone, a smartphone, then you can't see this overlay. Please look into the comments of this video, and there you find the link to this publication. And yes, I do have a PhD, so I'm able to do a scientific work. And when I traveled to Scotland, I often found in those, in these industrial complexes, I found filtering equipment for chill filtration, where you cool the whiskey to temperatures slightly above freezing point, 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, and then small particles become visible as a cloudiness, and then you filter these particles, micelle, you filter them, and the whiskey becomes clear again. And this chill filtration is done since several decades, and the industry is doing this because if you drink your whiskey on ice, it will turn cloudy if you do not chill filter your whiskey. There was an investigation of I think it was a malt maniac in Singapore, who did a chill filtration himself and did a small work, an epistle, where people tasted these whiskeys and said which of them they prefer, and most of the tasters weren't able to figure out which whiskey was chill filtered or not. They even suggested the different one, and most of them found that the chill filtered whiskey tasted better. So, and this was my start for this work I did over the year 2013 to begin a chill filtration, but on a better equipment, a better scale, and statistically relevant. So I did not filter through this cellulose filter, a tea or coffee filter. No, I did it in this column with a porous glass bottom, and on this glass bottom I put a cellulose filter from coffee, 2 pieces, and on top of this close to 2 inches of Kieselguhr. And this Kieselguhr are the skeletons of very, very small animals in the old seas, and they died and sank to the bottom, and there you have big layers of this Kieselguhr. This is a very porous material, and if you have a volume of 1 millimeter times 1 millimeter times 1 millimeter, then you have more than 1 billion species, skeletons of species of these Kieselguhr animals in this very, very small part. And these skeletons, chalk, have a big inner surface, and this inner surface is able to filter material, and typically those lipids which form the micelles, which bring the cloudiness into the whiskey, they adapt to these skeletons and are filtered out of the liquid, out of the whiskey. Then I put this equipment into the fridge And so I had to find one, and I put it to low temperature so that I were between 0 and 4 centigrade. I had a transmitting equipment to read the temperature. And before I put the whiskey in, I had to cool it down outside the fridge to 0 to 4 centigrade also, and then put it into the fridge, let it adapt to the same temperature, then fill it in. And it took first night to do 50% of it, and then it took 2 nights for here and another night, and so and then I had to fill it again because I had 3 bottles of each, and so we had 2.1 liters of whiskey for each kind, and 1 liter got filtered and the other liter not, and therefore I put an air pump for aquarium here on top to bring a pressure on the whiskey column for a faster filtration. And here I have equipment where I can get rid of the air pressure which builds up inside this glass bowl. The whiskey I took for the chill filtration were 24 different bottles, 3 each, quite expensive. And 12 of those bottles were original bottlings from the distillery itself, non-chill filtered, like this Longrow 18-year-old, which is smoky, matured in sherry casks, 120, 130 euros, dollars, pounds, whatever, sometimes up to 180. Or this Abelauer, 12 years old. And for the other 12 bottles, I choose independent bottlers, but not the very small ones you do not know, but 3 big ones. So Signatory Vintage, which is one of the biggest in Scotland. I didn't take Gordon MacPhail because when I started there were quite a few unchill-filtered bottles from Gordon MacPhail available. In the moment there are more, but when I started they were only a very few, so I did not take them. But Douglas Lang with their McGibbon's Provenance series, and Ian MacLeod with the Dunvegan and the Chieftains selections. Then Ian MacLeod, they own several brands, and they also bought the Glengoyne distillery and Tamdhu distillery, and Signatory Vintage, they bought the Eredar distillery. So they are the big independent bottlers which stand for quality, for big volumes of casks in their warehouses, and not those small armchair bottlers who take a cask from here and a cask from there. So we have good quality. The average pricing of the bottles were 46 point something euros each. So they were quite good bottles. And then half of the volume was chill filtered in this equipment inside the fridge, and half of the volume was left as it was, and was put into 1,331 small probes and were sent to 111 users from a mail order store in Europe and a forum which is running there. So we asked a lot of questions for the testers, how old they are, whether they are smokers or non-smokers. Only 40% were smokers. How many whiskies they already tasted. 80% had more than 30, 60 something percent had more than 50 different whiskies already tasted. So there was an experience in this group. They know what they were tasting. Different ages, and what they like to drink, to taste, if they are prefer unchill-filtered whiskies. We did not say them that we are looking for the chill filtration. No, we ask an awful lot if they like colored whiskey or uncolored whiskey. What an answer do you suggest? And we ask for a sheet of paper for each probe they were testing. And in this paper we asked, do you think that this whiskey is chill filtered or not? Do you think this whiskey is colored or not? Which age? And how did it taste? What's the quality? Which is the aftertaste? And we ask an awful lot of data, and were then able to build those statistics. And the result of this statistic was people are not able to figure out if a whiskey is chill filtered or not. There are some whiskies where the amount of right answers are slightly better than 50%. 50% is the average. It's like an ape who's doing the crossing on the paper. 50% is guessed. So from time to time they were 51, 52%. The best was 54 point something. But in average it was exactly 50.0%, which were able to have the right answer. So people are not able to figure out if a whiskey is chill filtered or not. And we asked for the quality. And typically people say the independent bottlers, they have the best quality available. You have to look for the independent bottlers. But quality was equal between the independent bottlers and the original bottlings. Quality was equal between the chill-filtered and unchill-filtered whiskies. There was no difference at all. Average. There are a few whiskies people were able to figure out if they are chill-filtered or not. And those are the whiskies which did not mature in sherry casks and which did not contain smokiness. There you're able, the more intense whiskies are unchill filtered and the others not. But if you have a good cask or a little cask, sherry cask on top of it, or a little smoke on top of it, it covers everything. You can't be able to figure out if this is right or not, is filtered or not. What was clearly visible was if you add sherry casks or wine casks for maturation, quality is rising. And we gave the probes to the people, to the testers. Every tester became 12 single probes, and 6 were from independent bottlers, 6 from original bottlers, and they always got a pair of chill-filtered, unchill-filtered. They weren't even able to figure out if this was the same distillery. Only 4 point something percent right distilleries were guessed. That's close to guessing. So you aren't able to figure out. Whoever did a blind tasting knows that you aren't able to figure out a distillery. So and this shows that they are slightly above guessing with the distilleries. That's most of the information we took out of the data. There is a publication. I put the link up here, and I put the link down here in the description of the video, so that you can download this publication and look after the data yourself. Thank you for watching. I'm happy to discuss the results with you. There is a forum, a new forum on Whisky.com, and we show the or we discuss the results with you in this forum. You can ask me your questions directly. And no, there's no link to download. No, there is a link to the publication on the website, and then we can better discuss with the publication online which questions you have. There are lots of photos in. You see the bottles, you see the averages, the standard deviations, you see a lot. Thank you for watching Whisky.com. Stay tuned, there's more to come. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and feel free to share this video with your friends.